Hello everyone, this is Amber with Staying Crafty. Today we're going to be making a card with the Cricut using Plant and Schoolbook, Home Decor, and Gypsy Wanderings. The first cut I have here is some grass from Plant and Schoolbook, and all I am doing is using a sponge to do some inking. I just thought that would give it a little bit more dimension and some depth. The grass did come out a little bit frayed. It didn't cut real perfectly, but that's okay because it is grass. I didn't think it needed to be super crisp to look good. So I decided to leave it as it was. And I've added some Glue Glider Pro adhesive to the back of my grass, and now I'm just positioning it on my card, and I am trying to leave an even border on the sides and the bottom because I'm going to be doing something with the edges later. So now I've got my sentiment and it just says thinking of you, and I'm using a zig 2A glue pen to get the back of the regular feature of the word glued up, and I'm gluing it to its shadow. Shadowing is always a nice effect. So there's this little flower for the O and of, and I went ahead and cut the sentiment out again in hot pink, and then I just trimmed the flower off of the rest of the sentiment so that I could layer it. It wasn't too hard to do, but I really wanted it to be a different color. I just thought it would make a really nice difference. So it did take me a second there to make sure it was lined up in the right direction. I didn't want to stick it down incorrectly, and now I'm just using that same zig 2A glue pen to get lots of adhesive on the back of it, and I'm just lining it up and sticking it down, and it makes a pretty significant difference. Adds a nice pop of color there. So I wanted to add some bling to the center of my flower. I am using Zip Dry adhesive. I would have liked a smaller piece of bling, but this is what I had in my stash, so I used it. Now I've got this bird from the Home Decor cartridge. I cut it out in regular and blue, and I cut it in blackout in yellow. And the reason I did blackout was simply because the beak cuts a little notch if you cut it on the regular feature. So I'm just trimming off the legs and the beak so that I can have those be yellow on my little birdie. So there's these little notches here in the tail that you can actually push out. They're little holes, but I left them attached because I want to put glue right in those spots and add some Fun Flock as well as on the wings. So now I'm just using my embossing buddy to prepare my little birdie to be fun flocked. I'm not sure if that helped much or not, but I figured it would be worth a try to help prevent sticking. So I've just got some Scotch quick dry adhesive, and I'm just going to be following those little cutouts in the top of the tail. Now I could have fun flocked the whole bird, I could have fun flocked the whole tail, but I just thought the nice little accents that were already there for me in this die cut would be really good to work with, so that I could add just a little touch of Fun Flock without it being totally overwhelming. So I've got all my adhesive on. Now I'm just kind of dumping some Fun Flock out directly from the jar onto my die cut, and when I shake it and flick it off, I realize it's not, as much as I wanted. So I just took it, pinched some up with my fingers, kind of sprinkled it on, get a little bit more heavy of a coating. And what's nice is this can all go right back in the bottle because I'm just using a scrap of paper, and I can fold that kind of in half to funnel it back in the jar when I'm done. So I'm not worried about wasting it. And I'm just pressing down the Fun Flock into the adhesive to get more on there. So now I'm going to Fun Flock the wing, and I'm just using the same quick dry adhesive. Didn't need my embossing buddy because I'm covering the entire thing. So I'm just sprinkling the Fun Flock on with my fingers this time, since I already have some out, and patting it down, trying to get nice even coverage. Little tiny pieces to work with. I always feel like I have these super fumbly fingers when I'm working with these little delicate pieces. But the wing came out really nice. I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges and tapping off the excess because I don't really want it falling, all over my card later. So now I'm just using my Zig 2A glue pen on the back of my little birdie so that I can put him on my card. And I do want him overlapping the grass. And I'm just using my adhesive again to get ready to attach our little bitty beak. Give that nice pop of yellow right on there. And now I need to attach the legs. Now I spent a little bit of time lining them up and making sure I knew which leg was which, that they were facing the right direction, all that type of thing. And they're really skinny pieces, so I just had to handle them a little bit delicately. I found it easier to put the adhesive directly on the bluebird instead. And I cut a pop dot in half and put it on the back of the wing just to adhere it down. You could also use like a mini pop dot. I know there are some that are already smaller, but that's all I did, was just cut a larger one in half. It worked quite nicely to really give it some added dimension with the Fun Flock and then it popping up off of the bird. So I wanted to add just a little bit more character to my little birdie. So I've got my zip dry out again, same thing I used for the bling. And I'm just putting it where the hole for the birdie's eye is. I'm going to attach the adorable little googly eye. Just be too cute. So now I've got my sentiment and I am simply just putting adhesive all over the back of it. Decided not to pop it up or do anything like that, but just to lay it flat. And as a finishing touch, I decided that I would like some faux stitching, and I'm doing it in a hot pink color, which I thought would be really fun on the white card, and it also kind of ties in with the pink on a little flower that's part of the thinking of you sentiment. So here's the card, all nice and complete. I think it turned out absolutely adorable. I'm so pleased. And here's just a little close-up of the bird so you can see the flocking a bit better. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful and very crafty day. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure and visit my blog.